Most people don't like how the government is run. Some people think about how things could be better and may talk about it. Margaret Chase Smith did this because she didn't enjoy how the government was being run, so she gave her speech, the Declaration of Conscience. She talked about McCarthyism and the Red Scare. It was given on the Senate floor on June 1st, 1950. She was new to the floor and was scared to give her speech because she was not an older senator and was afraid to be ridiculed. Some background: she was born in Maine and married Clyde Harold, a local politician. He was elected into the House of Representatives later, and Margaret managed his office. He came down with a life-threatening heart condition, and before dying said, "I know of no one else who has the full knowledge of my ideas and plans, or is as well qualified as she is to carry on these ideas of my unfinished work for the district." She won the election to take over his space on June 3rd, 1940. In 1948, she entered the Senate election and won, becoming the first woman to serve in both houses. The significance: back then, the Red Scare was going around in the United States, which was the fear of communism in the United States because of the Cold War going on with Russia. McCarthyism also was ruining the United States because Joseph McCarthy was accusing citizens of communism, ruining their reputation even if they were innocent. Today, it's significant because it reminds politicians and just everyone to use their knowledge for good and not be corrupt. It makes them think about the consequences of others and not just themselves. She uses anaphora in her speech when she says, "I speak as briefly as possible because too much harm has already been done with irresponsible words of bitterness and selfish political opportunism. I speak as briefly as possible because the issue is too great to be obscured by eloquence. I speak simply and briefly in the hope that my words be taken to heart. I speak as a Republican. I speak as a woman. I speak as a United States Senator. I speak as an American." Using anaphora brings the importance of the speech to the surface. People will pay attention, thinking, why does she keep repeating, "I speak"? What is so important that she needs to repeat? An allusion is used when she says, "But I don't want to see the Republican Party ride to the political victory on the four horsemen of calumny: fear, ignorance, bigotry, and smear." The four horsemen of calumny is an allusion to the biblical end times in Revelation 6, verses 1 through 8. It's a story of the Lamb sending down four horses and their riders to wreak havoc on the earth. The order of the horses was the conqueror, war, famine, and death. Together they would ruin the world. This allusion leads us to think that whoever uses the four horsemen of calumny are trying to ruin the world, or in this case, the United States. When she says, "I think that it is high time for the United States Senate and its members to do some soul searching for us to weigh our consciences on the manner in which we are performing our duty to the people of America, on the manner in which we are using or abusing our individual powers and privileges." She is using amplification, explaining the senators' duty to America, emphasizing their need to weigh their consciences and fix their manners. I'll read from the transcript. "I think that it is high time that we remember that we have sworn to uphold and defend the Constitution. I think that it is high time that we remember that the Constitution, as amended, speaks not only of the freedom of speech, but also of trial by jury instead of trial by accusation. Whether it be criminal prosecution in court or character prosecution in the Senate, there is little practical distinction when the life of a person has been ruined. Those of us who shout the loudest about Americanism and making character assassinations are all too frequently those who, by our own words and acts, ignore some of the basic principles of Americanism: the right to criticize, the right to hold unpopular beliefs, the right to protest, the right of independent thought. The exercise of these rights should not cost one single American citizen his reputation or his right to a livelihood, nor should be in danger of losing his reputation or livelihood merely because he happens to know someone who holds unpopular beliefs. Who of us doesn't? Otherwise, none of us could call our souls our own. Otherwise, thought control would have set in. The American people are sick and tired of being afraid to speak their minds, lest they be politically smeared as communists or fascists by their opponents. Freedom of speech is not what it used to be in America. It has been so abused by some that it is not exercised by others. The American people are sick and tired of seeing innocent people smeared and guilty people whitewashed. But there have been enough proved cases, such as the Amerasia case, the Hiss case, the Coppin case, the Gold case, to cause nationwide distrust and strong suspicion that there may be something to the unproved sensational accusations. She uses ethos just by being a senator and serving politically for 8 years. Being on the Senate board, she was probably dressed nicely, so her credibility is assumed, being able to be there. She uses pathos by explaining the Democrats' shortcomings in the past year, bringing the Republicans together to see how the United States was failing because of the Democrats. Her logos, using anaphora and also a bunch of repetition throughout her speech, it brought out the urgency and logical need. Being a woman also, her tone of voice could make them feel scolded. And then it will endure because the government will never satisfy everyone. And the leaders in the United States need to be reminded to not abuse their power and to use it for good. Thank you for listening to my speech.